in honor of the 1-year anniversary of competing in the Paralympic Games in China, I thought it would be really fun to do a reaction video to my performance. There's so much that goes unsaid either by the analyst or the athletes that day because of the emotions and the highs and the lows and the oh my gosh, there's too much to cover in the 10 seconds that they give you of airtime. So I thought it'd be really fun to talk about like what was happening that day, how things ended and why they ended it that way. And I just think it'd be really fun. So let's get into it. All right, so in the gate, we have Lisa De Jong of Canada. She's a below the knee amputee, awesome rider. Then myself, above the knee amputee. I was the only above the knee amputee woman competing in the event, which was super cool. So I was competing at a massive disadvantage. The next woman is Cecile. She has MS and full use of both her limbs, and she has balance issues. And lastly, we have Lisa of the Netherlands, another below the knee amputee. So I was having a day this day. In training, I was 2 seconds faster than all the women, and then I had a really bad crash where I hit my head in the training run, and so I was just really shaken up from it. I was going really slow in both my semifinals and the start, which was messing me up tremendously. But one thing as an above the knee amputee is my start sections are like not as good. I usually make it up in the turns and pass at the end. So that's almost always my strategy when competing, and we'll see how that played out. So right out of the gate, I'm in 4th place, which is so normal for me. Again, my strategy is to pass at the bottom. Almost always I'm gonna pass at like the last 100 meters of the course. So right here, nothing to worry about. But as you can see, I am on the far right of the course, and I did that strategically because Lisa of the Netherlands typically likes to speed check into the right lane, so I was giving her as much space as possible so that she would not hit me. As you can see, that strategy did not work. The course starts moving left, so I have to make my way a little bit left, and Lisa is still making her way right. She lands right before me. I land nearly on top of her. There's nothing I could have done in that situation to get out of the way. I did the best I could to not squish her, and we both get blown up. I get up and finish the race because it's not over till it's over, and I finished with a 3rd place. And while I'm not happy about it, I'm glad that I ended up with the medal. And the next race is banked slalom, which is just all raw snowboarding. So there's nobody that can get in your landing in banked slalom. It's just you against your board, and I will show you guys the next one. All right, to set the scene, this is the first event that we have had in the last 2 years with China. So we have not seen Chinese athletes in 2 years. And the rumor was they had been competing on a replica course for 2 years before this event. So we were all just feeling the disadvantages of being in China, competing against these athletes. It was just like a huge dark cloud, not just the smog cloud, but also like a metaphorical cloud, just holding over our community. Okay, so back to the race. This is my 2nd run down the course. My 1st run had landed me in 2nd place. And so what happens next is you get in descending order. So the person that finished last in the 1st run goes first, and so the person who finishes first goes last. So I was 2nd to last to drop. So that means I had no idea what was happening in front of me. I didn't know if people were passing me in times, and turns out 2 more Chinese riders had passed me in times, which was putting me in 4th place. Now, I did not know this at the time. I had told my coach at the start, I said, please don't tell me where these Chinese women are ending. I don't want to know. They're not my competition at this point anymore because they are just blasting us out of the water. I want to know where my typical competition is ending so that I can know if I did what I set out to do. And he had told me that I was still beating them, and I knew it at that moment. I'm like, well, I have nothing else to give or nothing else to lose. I'm just going to get out there and give it my all and see what happens. And so to set the scene, I had no idea that I was in 4th place. I had just known that I had beat my typical competition, and I was stoked. I had my music in, full blast. So again, no idea what was going on. And then I had my face cover on just so that I could be more like shut off, I guess, and in my own world. What was I listening to? Great question. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. So let's watch this race, and I'm going to show you exactly where I was squirrely bird and how I'm surprised that I was still even standing up on my board when I crossed the finish line. All right, so what I'm about to say is completely controversial, but you know what? It is what it is, and this is literally how it went. But the coaching that I trust, that I know can give me appropriate line choice, which is like the fastest way down the course, and technique and strategy was all the way in Utah. I didn't have coaches that I could fully trust and rely on for that information in China. So my strategy and technique was to just do what I knew I could do best, which was ride a higher line. I knew that if I could stay high, then I could minimize speed lost. Was that the right approach? I don't know. I didn't have like like I said, trustworthy coaching at the time, but I did the best I could with the skills and the knowledge that I had. And so I stayed high. There was a crux in the course, which you will see here in a minute. It is right before the jump where things just slow down drastically, and we could not for the life of us figure out that turn, and other nations had, and that was really where people were winning. I was about half a second behind at that part of the course. So if I had continued dude, I totally thought I was gonna go down right there. There are a few spots where like it is literally holding on for dear life. As you can see, like I'm bobbling and arms are up and I'm just saving it after save. But if you notice, like my board doesn't really lose very much speed. I'm able to hold and maintain speed and even gain some in some areas, which is absolutely wild. So that's where I made up all my time and I was able to win. And I was literally so shocked that I won. I literally could not believe that I won because my snowboarding felt like hot garbage. That's why I'm so surprised at the bottom whenever I won, because it really did not feel like I was going faster than my first run and it did not feel like a winning run. So that's why I was really surprised and shocked and didn't believe it. I thought I was getting punked, but I wasn't. I did walk away with a gold medal and I'm really proud of it. So thank you guys for watching my reacts video. This was actually really fun to make and I'll probably do more in the future. Let me know what you want to see and what you want me to react to. As always, if you don't already, subscribe to my channel so we can keep this party going.